back to Heal Inside and Out. This is going to be a very interesting episode. This is something that I have been learning more and more about, not only through my breast cancer journey, but even beyond. And this is something that I've always wanted to learn how to do. So the question today is, do you meditate? And what does it even mean? And I know we all have different ways of meditating and how we go about doing it and what it means to us. So, Maggie, I would love to know what it means to you.
Oh, it means self-love to me. I will just start with, but meditation to me is about sitting with myself and going inside to check in with me, to listen to me, and to just, whether it be find answers or just check in with my body or my mind. I just love the stillness part of it. And I, like you, I've always been fascinated with meditation. And I started it years ago. And I think it's a perfect thing that falls in the bucket of a practice, because I don't think you ever perfect it. I don't think you can ever get it right, if you will.
Right. And it's so different for everybody.
Exactly.
You know, we always strive for that perfection, as you and I both know that. And that's one of the things that we struggle with, is the perfection. And there is no right or wrong way to meditate.
Yes.
All right. You were talking about sitting quietly. I can't sit quietly. I need background noise. I use either piano music or listening to the waves or the raindrops or animals like the birds, like you do sometimes when you're out in nature. So that meditation for me truly isn't in silence.
Interesting. Okay, so
Yeah.
what does it mean to you when you think about meditation?
What it means to me is really, like you said, looking inward and finding what I desire, what my intentions are, what's stopping me from, pursuing certain goals and certain dreams. And a lot of the times when I do my meditation is I'm asking for guidance. I'm asking to allow myself to receive the message.
I love that.
And I do set an intention for the day, because I do mine in the morning.
I love that. What does it mean to you, Marla?
I think it means getting to really know myself and allowing and accepting what that is. So I use it a lot for just processing how I'm feeling or working through some strong emotions, or it's sort of a precursor before I'm journaling sometimes, just to pause and listen to listen to my thoughts, if you will, but like just it's sort of a deeper dive on understanding who I authentically am and what are my values, what am I passionate about, what do I want to set my intentions to, versus just being in this autopilot kind of mode.
I love that. And so if you took all three of our answers, it's about loving on ourselves, right? It's about getting to know ourselves at a deeper level. And it's about asking some of those questions and exploring some of those questions that we're not sure.
Yes.
Of the answer of it. And I mean, there's probably a million other definitions of it, right? But I just feel like those are powerful things.
Oh, absolutely. They're very powerful. And, our minds, especially when we're lost in thought. And I don't know if anybody's noticed this or have experienced this, but when you're driving somewhere and you miss the turn and it's like you just don't know how you just did that. Or
Yep.
sometimes you do make a turn and you make another turn and you're like, how did I get here already? Like,
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. Or the other, yeah, you just don't even know, how did I get here? I don't even remember
right,
getting.
right. Because you're so in depth in your thought process. It's a meditative state, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And what I struggle with this is the consistency.
Mm.
I'm good for a while with my meditation, and then I slack off for a few days, then I come back to it, then I slack off again. And it's something that then I start to be hard on myself. And I was like, wait a minute, I'm just setting the intentions to be calm and just let things happen for the day. And here I am being hard on myself because I'm not doing it consistently. So where, Marla, do you might struggle with this?
Well, I think that was an excellent point, Dina, because consistency is definitely a piece. And I think also just sort of what I expect or when I want to do it or I push it, it's like, oh, I have to do it right now versus just being open to when is a good time to take a break and being open to it. Because it's like anything, if you try and force it, it's not going to give the results that you're hoping for or be as generous to you, I guess, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
How about you, Maggie?
I will say that I struggle twofold. One of them is mainly the attachment to the results I want. So I think, if I have some time where I'm not able to get out of my head, which we can never get rid of the thoughts, right? But sometimes I just feel like if I can't even get out of my head, I'm thinking about all these other things. I don't feel like it was effective or productive enough. So sometimes I attach to the result if I'm not getting an answer in the moment, which we all know the answers might come way later, right?
Oh, yes.
So I start to judge the quality of the meditation session and then I can get inconsistent with it. So that's one of my struggles. Another one of my struggles is, which leads into another topic for us here, and that is there are a million ways it can look. So sometimes I get paralyzed when I sit down and think, ooh, how do I want to do this today? Do I want to have music? Do I want guided? Do I want to do my journaling first? Or do I want to do meditation and then my journaling? Or do I want to just walk around so I get hung up on how do I want to do it today? And then I get paralyzed and may not do it because I got to get it right. So that for me is another struggle that I'm well aware of.
How can we get through that little struggle? Like you're saying that, you want the perfection. What kind of meditation do I want to do today? What, if I don't do it, what's going to happen? So how can we get through that? What steps can we take?
I think for me, a big thing that I've been working on lately is this whole notion of just acceptance or allowing things to go as they go. Like it is what it is kind of philosophy, if you will. Just,
right.
Back to what I was saying earlier about the expectations. Like if I think it's going to go a certain way or whatever, whatever it was is what it was meant to be today. And actually that ends up being a little more freeing to me and not so stressful. And also things that I could have never even expected or wanted to come to a conclusion about or think about come up then. And that's actually probably more powerful or what I needed to focus on in the first place.
I love that.
Really?
And I think it's a brilliant question, Dina, because for me, it's, I didn't want to, stay paralyzed. I didn't want to get inconsistent because of that struggle. So I set up some defaults for myself.
Right.
So for example, if I find myself going down that, I'll say, okay, my default is I turn on this favorite meditation music in the background. I set a timer and I go with that.
Right.
So I have like a fallback, if you will.
Mhm.
If I can't decide, it's like stop overthinking it and just go. And what's so interesting is those are most often the most powerful because I just let it be what it was.
You just
right?
right. Exactly. You just allow it to unfold. You allow it to just happen.
Yes.
We talked about meditation and what it looks like. It could be quiet and stillness. We talked about guided meditations. All right. I know for myself, when I sit in silence, it doesn't work. And I've tried it and tried it and tried and tried. Instead of giving up completely, I'll go to a guided meditation.
And I will say I love the guided when my mind is most busy because a voice kind of guiding me through some concept and then into silence helps so much. So I love the guided for that too. Sorry.
Right. No. What just came to mind, because as we have these conversations, other things pop in my head, that when I sit at my desk and I am working, I put on I have an ooey boom, which is connected Bluetooth to, it's a speaker, and it's connected to my Bluetooth to my phone, and I listen to XM radio, but I love this one station called the Piano Guys.
I love that station.
And technically, now that I'm thinking about, we're talking about meditation, it's like all day long, that is in the background. And that's kind of meditation and allowing my day to just flow calmly because I just love the piano and the cello and the violin. And it's just so soothing.
I love that. You're setting yourself up for calm, even when you're not actively meditating, right?
Exactly. It's another way of doing it.
I love that.
I'm going to bring something up, and it's either Marla or Maggie that brought this up about even standing in line at the grocery store. What is that all about?
So, Marla, I'll let you speak to this one. I think it's a fascinating concept.
Well, I think just the idea of just calming ourselves down in the moment, right? Like, I think it's so easy to be like, I need to get through this line, or I need to get on to the next thing, or whatever. It's the busy mind. So it's sort of back to your point about calming ourselves down. It's just like taking a deep breath, taking a pause. It could be anything like that, that just is sort of, or like you said, sometimes when you're driving and you don't even know, you just get lost in your thoughts. So it's like taking a moment to just be intentional of, take that breath, take that pause, and just be in the space where you are and not 3 steps ahead where you need to be next, or getting agitated. I think calming is a good word for that all the time, for meditation.
Well, I love how you said that, Marla, because I truly feel like this is another thing that I feel meditation is. It means being more present. Getting into the present moment. And when we're standing in a line, we can't like knock the person down in front of us and tell the cashier go, right? I mean, like you gotta just be there. You're in that present moment, make the best of it. I just think that's a really good time to do it. And it doesn't have to be an hour-long thing or a half-hour-long thing. It can be moment here and a moment there.
Right. It could be a couple of minutes throughout the entire day.
Yeah. So what tools do you guys love to use? Like there's so many, we talked about the different music guided, those sort of things, but what tools do you use when you do use guided and stuff?
I use the app Calm, CALM, and they have, believe it or not, they have so many different types: stress relief, anxiety, sleep, driving, believe it or not, driving,
Wow.
walking in
Wow.
nature. There's a lot of them. Then they also do a series, like a 7-day series, if you wanted better sleep in 7 days, or less anxiety in 7 days, or, there's all different, or you can just listen 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, how many minutes you want, to certain sounds. Me, it's
Love
water.
that.
It's always water with me.
I'm a water's my go-to as well.
Yeah.
And or the nature sounds too. But I like Insight Timer for some of the same reasons you just called out. Insight Timer, I have found some of my favorite voices, because voice is so important to me with the guided. And so Sarah Blondin and David G are my two favorite soothing voices. If you imagine meditating, you can't have a voice that is either annoying or distracting to you. You have to have a very soothing, comforting voice, right? But this just made me think of in 2016, I went to a Hay House conference and I met David G. So I would encourage any of you who have not heard of David G, DavidJi, all one word, David G. He was like the most present version of Santa Claus. I can't even describe it. And I met him in person, and then he led a room of over 1,000 people, huge auditorium. He led us through a breathing meditation, and I felt the energy shift. I mean, it was it was just amazing. So anyway, he's my favorite voice. And otherwise, I like Spotify. They have a lot of different either meditations and or meditation soundscapes and that sort of thing as well.
Well, and I want to add to that, you know what, you made me think of this when you were talking, Maggie, is that the voice and the way you are in the moment, I guess, being present. I always thought, like, even going through my yoga classes, I did some gentle or hatha yoga classes, and different instructors, teachers, guides, whatever, the people that were leading the class, they could put me in a meditative state. I felt like it was like my moment of stillness, even though I wasn't actually being still. They were talking the whole time, and we're doing all these different poses and things, but it was very meditative in that sense for me. And also at that same yoga studio, I would do different things where they do the sound bowls. And I know, Dina, you and I have talked about that.
Yes.
That is so beautiful and relaxing. Or so I'll even find those on Spotify or something too to listen to, because or whatever music channel you use. But the if I'm really stuck in thoughts or work things or questions that I need to work through, I just find putting that on in the background, much like you said, Dina, with the piano, it just like the creativity starts to flow again, and the things start to work again. It's like your brain just calms. It's like back to that calming state.
Speaking of those sound bowls, healing bowls, I've been going once a month, and it's only been the last 2 months that I've gone. But the woman who runs it actually takes the bowl and puts it on your belly button area. And then she moves it then to your chest. And like you said, Maggie, about energy and releasing, things just left me. It was so relaxing, so relaxing.
So and that's go ahead. Sorry. And
those 2 nights I got the best sleep.
I love that. And that it gets into sort of the movement of energy. And then you can start thinking about like frequencies. So one of the things I like to listen to is different frequencies as well, which is literally, I do believe it shifts, because different emotions have different frequencies, all of that. So that gets into a whole nother level of meditation too. And I would say that the biggest benefit that I get out of meditation is that it does put me into the moment, like we were talking about. It puts me in the moment, and it actually sets the tone for my day to be more proactive instead of reacting to all the stuff coming at me, because I start from here. I start from me. I start from my center. And one example of that too is it distracts me potentially from my busyness of all the to-dos and the things. And an example for me that was powerful, going through my treatments, going through my chemotherapy, when you're sitting there for hours getting the drip, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would meditate because I would use a guided meditation because it would distract me from what was going on. And so it was a good, well, I mean, it set the tone for those sessions too, right?
Right.
But so it's just a good positive influence going forward in my days or what I'm navigating. What do you guys find benefit wise?
Well, go ahead.
I think just what I said, I just circle back. I think just getting more in tune with myself and what I'm dealing with, some thoughts and emotions and processing them. And also it's the one time where I don't know, I feel like I'm in my most authentic place of what do I need? What do I want? What do I want to put my focus on? What are my intentions for today or for my life in general? Just a good place.
Wow. It allows me truly to move through certain obstacles or challenges that might come up with more ease, because it makes me calmer. It starts my day out on a calm, even surface, let's say. And it truly sets the tone for me for gratitude. Because at the end of my day, that's one of the things that I do. What am I grateful for? From the day. And I just love that. I mean, it truly just, you go through the day after doing some meditation in the morning, and it's just like, all right, whatever happens today, I got this. I'll be able to just move through it with ease, no issues. But if it is something that stirs up, I have the tools, whether it's the deep breathing, whether it's calm, whether it's the piano guys, to set me up right then and there and say, okay, time to take that break, time to relax for a few minutes, and then move on with the rest of my day. And I just love that. And this has been an amazing conversation about meditation. And I want our listeners to know that it does take practice. And not one size fits all. You might try one thing, it might not work. Try something else. If that doesn't work, go on to something else. You have to find what works for you. Because healing truly is inside and out. Thank you for joining us. We hope you found value in today's episode.
And remember to share your real and raw insights with us by going to healinsideandout.com, where you can also find additional information and resources.